This is an article that came out in the New York Times, February 24th, 2018. Guns and opioids are American scourges fueled by availability. They are now admitting that murder is going up in America because of the opioid plague that's going on out here. It's driving up crime, just like it did during the crack epidemic. We said these things during the crack epidemic, but you remember there's a group of people that want to believe we are just inherently violent. But it's funny how the exact same thing is happening to them now. And now they want to give everything different labels. Violence is a public health issue. Being on opioids is a public health issue. Peeing on a corner is a public health issue. Everything's a public health issue now. All right. The United States is in the midst of two plagues. Wow. They're admitting it's a plague in the opening sentence. Wow. With much in common. One is gun-fueled mass murder. The other is addiction to opioids. Pain pills, heroin, fentanyl. Both are uniquely American afflictions, killing in alarming numbers. Both are revved in part by commercial interests and in part by the collapse of community in American culture. Both persist because of erroneous beliefs that there's an easy answer to these complicated problems. They can't resolve this, ladies and gentlemen. And they can't resolve the gun issue in America because there's too many people with guns. There's over 200 million people in America with guns. Okay? You can't fix that. You're never going to fix murder in America. Just like you're not going to fix this drug problem. It's not going to be fixed. So these are things that we're looking at right now that's going to take America down. It's damn near being brought down anyway, no matter how you look at it. And you couple this with the low birth rate, man, these people are out of here. They are out of here. Laid on top of a culture of increasing social isolation for many, our vast supply of easily accessible opioids has sent overdose deaths skyrocketing. And this is mainly in suburban areas and the rural area, which are hit exceptionally hard. So is a vast supply of easily accessible guns has produced a similar rise in death toll. Okay. But it was bigger than that. It was about who we were as Americans. So, they're talking about Mexican traffickers and stuff like that. And it's not just the Mexicans. You got the Chinese that are just sending the fentanyl in here insane amounts on a regular basis, and they can't stop that stuff from coming in. Even with scanning machines, they can't stop all of it. The root of the scourge, I believe, is the isolation and a conviction that we were entitled to a life, a pain-free life in which forms heroin natural habits. We exalted the private, the individual at the expense of community. We once kicked the can in the streets until late on summer evenings. Now those streets are empty as we huddle at home. More than 12% of the population served in the military during World War II. And nearly every American sacrificed to beat the Nazis. Today, less than 1% join the armed services. Wow. Well, for the Black community, I understand. Number one, we don't get treated right in this society, but you expect us to join your armed services? See, that is now becoming the thing of the past because things are not improving for Black people in America. So, why should they sacrifice their life when you're not going to make things better for us. You're going to keep the racism and discrimination up. You're going to keep doing all of this stuff in school to our kids, not being treated right. So you can expect a drop in the Black community. I mean, it's inevitable. But my thing is, why is it such a drop to 1% when all of you are, especially Trump supporters, are walking around out here talking about patriotism? I guess you're not patriotic enough. You're not joining the military. Less than 1% are joining the armed forces, but you're all stomping around here talking about patriotism and believing in the country and the flag. You see how this right here, ladies and gentlemen, should tell you these people are full of shit. They are full of shit. See, it's easy to have a flag and claim patriotism, but they don't put their money where their mouth is and join the armed forces. So, under 1% of these same people that are running their mouth about patriotism aren't even joining the army, aren't joining any branch of the military at all. It's just like Donald Trump, his butt. Remember, he couldn't be drafted because he had bone spur. Bone spur. Now, President Bone Spur think that the military should march in front of him. The same military he refused to fight in. But let this number sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 1% of these patriotic, wielding people are joining the military. This should tell you without a shadow of a doubt, these people are full of shit. They are full of shit. Kids are dosed with weeks worth of narcotics to keep them from the 3 days of pain that accompany a wisdom tooth extraction. We've seen parents prosecuted for letting kids go to the park alone. College students wilt when exposed to ideas that disagree with the 24-hour cable news shrieks at us, forcing us into ideology bubbles. All of this has provided fertile soil for 2 decades dosing with opioids promoted by drug companies, prescribed by doctors, demanded by many of us. See, that's the thing. See, that's what makes this very different from the crack addiction. The crack epidemic, this government physically came into the Black neighborhood with those drugs, hoping to kill us off. We weren't asking for crack. These folks are asking for the drug. They demand the drug. And their demand is why China is sending that mess over to the country, and Mexico is bringing it across the border. And it's coming in from Canada too, and from those islands, especially the Dominican Republic. So America's getting hit on all borders. But see, these people are asking for the drug. That's the difference. It was forced upon us. Okay. So again, it was promoted by drug companies, prescribed by doctors, demanded by many. And that led to a national explosion of drug addiction and death. So they caused their own demise. They caused it themselves. We didn't cause the crack epidemic, but they caused, their own people caused this opioid plague that's going on. I was a newspaper reporter for almost 30 years before writing a book. All right, I'm going to get past that. All right. So this person is saying they were in Tucson when Jared Lautner shot 19 people, 6 of whom died, including a federal judge, among the wounded was Gabby Giffords. Okay, I remember that shooting. A member of the House of Representative at the time, over the phone, and this person, they covered the shooting. Okay. And they were covering the Aurora, Colorado shooting and the elementary school in Newton, Connecticut. Because, I think the last time there have been multiple shootings at schools, multiple times every single month now. It is going through the roof. And, and many of the school shootings are going unreported now. Because I know I came across an article that said there were 11 in January alone. Okay. We are just barely hanging on to February, and the school shootings are just going through the roof in this country. It's a systemic problem, and it exists because of the lackadaisical way that this country deal with certain people. But they want to go all hard and heavy-handed on the Black community. Long before all that, I covered perhaps, now they're talking about the Stockton, California gun massacre, and the person was using an AK-47 and open fire on a playground full of kids at recess at Cleveland Elementary School. 5 died and 30 were wounded. As years passed, I realized I was telling the same story over and over. A lost, isolated, unbalanced, usually white young man with legal access to firearms. Now, Nicholas Cruz, who has been charged with the Parkland, Florida school shooting, has taken his place among the lost boys, all products of our soaring American isolation and ready supply of guns. No, this happens because the white male in America is catered to. Okay? He can't do no wrong. Your courts have catered to him. Your police officers out here cater to him because they are him. And for the most part, the white male can commit felonies and don't go to jail. He can rape and don't go to jail. Okay? Whenever he does it, it's like Bill Cosby's late daughter said, it's boys will be boys. But when Black men do it, they need to go to jail for the rest of their lives. See, only ones allowed to rape in this society are white males. Everybody else that rapes, you got to go to jail. That's how they got it set up. And even if it's different crimes, what do you hear from the judge? Oh, you look like a good kid. You look like a good kid. It's amazing. Black people never look like good kids, do we? We never look like a good kid to them. Only white teens that go to court for committing felonies look like good kids. Oh, you look like a good kid. And then they get to go home. Okay. Or a white male commits a rape against a child. Oh, probation. Go home, probation. So it's not surprising to me that it's the white male doing all the shooting in this country because they are just accustomed to everything being rigged up in their favor. So I'm not surprised. I learned writing my book that when you unleash a vast new supply of potent legal drugs on a population, um, yeah, well, I'm going to skip over that because, the bottom line is they're asking for these drugs, y'all. They are asking for the opioids. Okay. It's not just that each gunman procured these weapons legally, but that our supply is so immense that finding a gun legally or not is easy, and that's true. That's true. I have even been in the inner cities and seen people selling guns out of the back of their vans and cars. I have even seen it. So I know that's true. Mass shooting plagues us, but so does a decade-old torment of gun violence and suicides. Most gun owners are law-abiding, just as many people who have no trouble taking narcotic painkillers according to the prescribed instructions. Yet, when guns or opioids are accessible in plentiful supply to everyone without much monitoring of consumer backgrounds, and are then mixed with the isolation and disconnection in America culture today, havoc results. You know, what only thing that bothers me about this article is they're constantly talking about isolation as if, well, they're lone wolves. No, they're not. No, they're not. All of these mass shooters are a product of American society. That's what they are. This is what happens when you don't care about your laws, you care about race. This is the end result of it. Now you better pray that you're not at the end of a barrel of a gun because these mass shooters, from what I have seen over the years, primarily target their own people. Okay, they primarily get their own people. They may talk all that mess about hating black people and hating this person and that person, but when they pick that gun up, they are gunning down their own people. Okay, the end to our opioid addiction plague, I believe, will come from uh, small solutions. So they're saying it's going to be small solutions that ultimately snuffs out the opioid addiction that's going on in the country. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. They have been trying to come up with solutions for this for over 20 years now, going on 20 years. So I don't agree with what he said about these small solutions. And he's also saying expanding treatment options, using jails as recovery centers, creating syringe exchanges. See, they're doing all this stuff now. They're already doing this stuff. I mean, nothing that he's saying in this article is things that haven't been done. Broadening the use of Narcan, widening the curriculums in medical schools to include pain and addiction studies. They're already doing that. Law enforcement role is crucial. Recovering addicts need supply reduced. The supply of opioids on our streets is so vast and potent that when a recovering addict relapse, the results is often death. All right, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but all of the solutions that he's talking about in this article, they're already doing. And it's not putting a dent in the addiction. See, they've waited until millions are out here on the drug before they start standing up to do something. It's too late. It's too late. Okay. Insurance companies, meanwhile, need to reimburse for non opioid pain treatment as they once did. We've lowered pain pill prescribing, but without rising the numbers of pain strategies available for chronic pain patients. Okay, so, this person is not doing anything but repeating a bunch of stuff that's already being done. So it's not making any difference. So I'm going to move on. All right. I don't know why that. Maybe it's where I have my mouse. Okay. Restoring the ban on assault rifles is essential, as is banning gun ownership among people convicted of domestic abuse, those with domestic abuse restraining orders, and the mentally ill. So, is banning gun possession among those repeatedly convicted of driving while intoxicated. We need to change the law to let the Center for Disease Control and Prevention study gun violence as a public health issue. You see this? Wait, black on black crime, Chicago, black people are killing each other. That's violent, right? But when white people have guns and they go out here and do gun violence, it should be viewed as a public health issue. You see how shit their drug addiction should be viewed as a public health issue. Violence in the white community should be looked at as a public health issue. And gun violence, because white males are out here mass shooting more than anyone else, this should be looked upon as a public health issue. Y'all full of shit. All right. We need longer prison terms for stealing a gun or possessing one that's stolen. Possessing a stolen gun has very different potential consequences from possessing a stolen Xbox. You know why he's bringing this up? Because most of the guns in the inner city are brought in by these white people from the suburb and the rural area. They come into the black community to buy drugs, and they oftentimes don't have money. So they'll trade the gun for the drug. So now you have a gun that will be considered stolen. See, that's why they want to shift to this, because they know the impact will be more on black people. But some white dude going out here and spraying the public with a gun, that's a public health issue, y'all. It's a public health issue. Come on. All right, y'all. I have a visitor right now. My cat had to come and join me. All right. Sorry about that. But let's get back to this article. The problem is both opioid plague and mass murder that bedeviled by our isolation. See, I don't believe there's any isolation. I really don't. I don't know why that keeps coming up. There's a motive behind that word. Some treatment advocates strung by the war on drugs won't recognize law enforcement necessary role in our attack on addiction as a robust player in the multi-pronged approach. The Republican Party, which understands that an enormous opioid supply fueled our addiction scourge, fails or doesn't want to understand that the supply of firearms is at the root of our problem of mass shootings. Moreover, the party's response to each horror, apart from the by now rote thoughts and prayers, has been the claim that this or that proposed reform won't stop the shooter. You know, after these mass shootings, just watch your politician. Just watch them. Watch their reaction. Now, Trump, we already know what Trump does. Trump, if it's anybody of color, Trump is you're a thug, you're this, you're that. But whenever it's a white shooter or what they think is a white shooter, all of a sudden it's a mental illness and this and that. These people aren't mentally ill, y'all. They need to get over that mental illness talk. These people aren't mentally ill that are carrying these things out. The people that carry out these shootings act that way because the society that they are in have encouraged that behavior. And then when they act on certain things, oh, well, they're mentally ill. No, 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 they're not. No, they're not. Y'all encourage a lot of these males to be the way that they are. Okay. It's a societal problem. And until you see it that way, you're never going to resolve it. If you keep looking at it as a lone wolf and mental illness, then that tells me you have no intention on changing a thing. These males are acting this way because they have been encouraged to be this way. It's not mental illness at all. See, as long as they're around the group talking about hating black people and killing people and doing this and doing that, it's all good. You see how Nick Cruz was in a group talking about killing people and hating Jews and hating blacks and hating this and hating that, and not one of them spoke up. Not one of them. He was doing this in live hangouts, and not one among his group came out to speak against it. Because you know why? That's normal talk, and society accepts it. Okay. To get beyond all that, we must again act as bold, resilient Americans, tackling a problem with a can do attitude, the usual. Well, I'm not reading that. Okay. Um, the bottom line is America have killers because America has produced killers. See, in this society, it's okay to hate whoever you want. It's okay to not like people. It's okay to sit around talking about you want to kill people. It's okay to have an arsenal at your home and talk recklessly. Those things are accepted in American society. So Nick Cruz is a product of America. America made him. Just like you've made all of the other mass shooters. Just like you've made this opioid plague too. This doesn't point to other people. It sure don't point to the black community, okay? Because there weren't no black doctors writing all these scripts to white patients claiming that you feel more pain than everybody else. That wasn't done by us. So you created your own monster. That's the way I see it. And now your monster is out of control and you don't know what to do with it. So anytime these shootings occur, now what they do is as soon as the shooting occur, they come straight to the black channels. What about black on black crime? What about Chicago? Black people are the most violent. Black people, 13% of the population commit 50% of crime. That's what they do after every shooting. They make a beeline to the black channels with that nonsense. But still, does it make up for everything that's going on in the white community that you've said this to black people? No. No. Mm-mm. And I've seen them do this. They came to my channel to do the Chicago black on black crime, black people, 13% of the population. They did this after the shooting where those congressmen were practicing baseball and that shooting took place. They came over here then with that nonsense. They came after the Stephen Paddock. They came straight to my channel. Oh, black on black crime. You black people, black people are violent. Y'all starting to look ridiculous. And when Nick Cruz happened, they came flooding over here then. And also the church shooting. Remember the white guy that shot all them people up in church? They came over and did the same thing. Black on black crime, Chicago. After every single mass shooting, they make their beeline to the black channels to talk all that shit. Like that makes up for what happened. And it don't. It don't, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost, you can see the desperation for them not to have a bad stigma on themselves and try to keep the stigma on black people. That's what they're trying to do. They don't want you talking about them. That's why they come with that nonsense. But beware when the next mass shooting happens, and it will happen. It will happen. America is a gun toting society. So it will happen. And when it does, just be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, for the usual trolls with the only topics that they can think of talking about: Chicago, black on black crime, black people are the most violent, black people are 13% of the population and commit 50% of the crime. And they sound like broken records. These got to be the most uninteresting people I have ever seen in my life. But this is what we have to deal with. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell twice. Also, if you can support my channel, please do, because more and more of my videos are demonetized is because of what I talk about. So your support is very important. Peace, family.